Good morning, Star Wars Unlimited fans, and welcome to Golden Dice, live from Philadelphia's Pax Unplugged. Probably saw the title of this video and thinking, that's not the guy who does the interviews. We need the serious guy. But unfortunately, if you heard what Jack's voice sounds like today, you wouldn't want to hear the somewhat hour of interview that we're about to do. But don't worry, before you click off the video, we have a very special guest here. Cooler than the Tyler we're used to. Why don't you introduce yourself, sir?
Don't worry, we're not here to be serious. We're here to be silly. Hi, my name is Tyler Parrott. I'm a senior game designer at Fantasy Flight Games, and I made this game.
Isn't that neat?
That's cool.
So, Tyler, tell us a little bit about yourself as far as who you are at FFG, who you are in relation to Star Wars Unlimited, and who you are as Tyler Parrott.
Who am I as Tyler Parrott? Wow, starting with the hard-hitting questions. So I guess the short answer is I have worked for Fantasy Flight Games for about 6 years. In fact, almost exactly 6 years. I am a senior game designer. I was originally hired to work to be the game designer for the Legend of the Five Rings living card game, and then after that we sunset that game. I moved on to this game. I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan. I was making friends with Star Wars at 5 years old, or 6 years old. So I'm like the Star Wars guy on the team, frankly, for lack of a better term. Me and Danny and Jim designed the core rules for the game with a little bit of input from the rest of us, and then once the core game mechanics were mostly established, Danny and Jeremy and I were the ones that designed the first set, which is also the foundation for all the sets, right? Really. Awesome. And then we've been designing sets ever since.
Awesome, cool. So we're going to be playing in between questions. I don't know how you want to pace it out or whatever have you, but
let me get my bag. I'm going to show you how we decide who goes first in the office.
All right.
So we, some of us are big poker players.
Okay.
Not me so much, although I enjoy poker. I'm just not as hardcore about it. So our preferred go first method is poker dice.
Okay.
We're going to roll 5 dice. Whoever gets the best poker hand goes first. I have 2 pairs, 2s and 3s. That's a 4. You can't really see it. That's fine. I promise I'm telling the truth. Go for it.
I am going to need your help because I am not a poker player at all.
Great. You have 2 pairs and that's it. So I'm going to go first.
Sure. Sounds good. So what is your favorite Star Wars movie and then character? We'll start there.
Favorite Star Wars movie is A New Hope.
Okay.
There's like a top tier and then like a mid tier and a low tier,
Sure.
right? A New Hope has always been my favorite. It's what got me into the films. It's just a very solid adventure film with some lovable characters.
That we're going to see in the set, right?
That's it, and we're going to see a lot of them in the set.
Awesome.
A lot of that movie is just forever burned into my brain in a good way.
Oh, good, yeah. It's a good one. It's a good one to start with.
Favorite Star Wars character? There's a lot, right?
Oh yeah.
It's now a little bit my job, but also it's just the kind of person I am that I love almost all of Star Wars. Particular favorites include. Well, I wanted to be Luke Skywalker when I was a kid, so he has to make the cut in some capacity, right? Kanan Jarrus is another favorite of mine, partially because I like the on-his-own scoundrel Jedi archetype. Kyle Katarn is a character that I grew up, that I have loved since I was a kid as well, and Kyle and Kanan have a lot of shared DNA.
Sure. Who else? Kyle Katarn. I respect that answer so much.
Kanan is usually my go-to.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember in 20 minutes. Oh, yeah, this character, they're really important.
That's fine. That's fine. All right, so cool, very good.
Starting us off with a Pathfinder.
We're going to do one for a
What?
TIE fighter.
I'm going to be thinking about that for a while. Initiative.
Sure. We'll do 1 and 1.
We saw it coming.
And I'll pass.
We saw it coming. Get out of here, you.
Yeah.
I'll add that another fondness for Kanan is that I appreciate Kanan and Hera's relationship.
Yeah.
You don't get that many relationships in Star Wars, let alone good ones.
Right.
And that one is it's not highlighted in the main show.
Right.
That much, but it is important,
subtle.
and you can always tell that it's there, and
Important.
their love and commitment to each other is important, and always, even from the very first episode, you know it's there, and it is a foundation for their characters in the show.
And the whole Spectre crew too. I mean, they just really work well together. You know?
Oh yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Rebels and the Spectre crew, and
For sure.
so I guess I'll ask another question before you go, and then you can go and answer at the same time. But what aspect have you had the most fun designing, and feels like it fits your play style the best?
Sure. This is a surprisingly hard question. I suspected it would be coming, and I was thinking about it the other day. Because like the aspect that I enjoy playing the most is aggression. But aggression is surprisingly hard to design.
Okay.
It is surprisingly
Balance-wise, or
it's so direct
yeah.
that it's just like it wants to be doing the same thing a lot.
Right.
So trying to come up with variations on what aggression wants to be doing is surprisingly hard. Like, it was very simple to come up with mission briefing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pay 3 resources, draw 2 cards. Great. Okay, now what does a draw 2 cards unit look like?
Right.
Well, I guess it could be when you die you draw 2 cards, but that's too strong, so we'll put an extra condition on it. And then maybe when you play it, you can draw 3 cards, but that's like way too strong, so I guess we'll have to put another condition on it. Okay, so there we go, we made some cards. Okay, now how are we going to make these like 10 cards that say deal some damage different? I don't know.
I can imagine the double aspect cards are probably hard to do too, especially with aggression. How to make that balance, how to make that fair. And
Those were some of my favorites because I really wanted to make those double the signposts, the signpost aspect cards very. I wanted them to loudly communicate what the aspect was about, so you could just read the one card and be like, I get it now.
Right.
The card says cunning, these are the things that cunning does, and so on. Lately, I've been having the most fun designing command, actually.
Okay. Interesting.
I try not to think too hard about cunning because, we're game designers, so everyone designs cunning cards by accident. Command cards are not obvious why they should be good, which is part of what makes them interesting to design.
That is interesting. So you're saying you got to work a little harder to figure out how to make those, most efficient, or?
And it feels like there's a lot of interesting design space in command, but it's not obvious where that design space wants to go.
Right.
So it's like I feel like I have a pool that I get to explore, whereas other aspects are a little bit more obvious what they're doing and or harder to make feel unique compared to all the cards we've designed before, as I explained with aggression.
I think you've done a good job so far because they all definitely feel very unique.
Oh, I'm very happy with where we landed, but getting there sometimes can be pretty tough. Here's 4 damage on your base.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. So I will do 2 for a Snowtrooper Lieutenant and
oh my god, we're doing the same thing.
We are doing the same thing, just a little bit different.
There was a period where I designed a whole bunch of aggression cards for a set, and then a couple months later I designed a whole bunch of aggression cards for the next set, and I was like, man, I'm just retreading the same ground here. I got to change something up. I'll take the initiative.
Okay. I'm going to do
you'll
the
do the
Vader
Vader
thing,
thing.
and yep, perfect. And I'll pass.
Great.
So next question is there a leader spoiled already that you feel best describes your playstyle and design philosophy?
Ooh. Best describes my playstyle and design philosophy. Those are very different questions. Those are very different questions. My playstyle is mid-range, so the best mid-range leader is probably, that's been previewed so far,
Careful.
is probably... Oh, it's almost definitely Luke, actually.
Okay.
He's very mid-rangey, and he's protective mid-range. He's a protective in his mid-ranginess.
Sure.
Jin would also be an option there.
That's what I thought you were going to say, actually.
she's more proactive about her mid-ranginess.
Okay.
I like to play tanks in video games.
Okay.
So he tank.
Yes.
He tank good. There's a leader in set 2 who was a little bit my pet leader because I was like, I want to make a weird jump through some hoops way to make a like shields up survivable character in a different way than Luke.
Different tank.
And design philosophy. It's really hard not to say Thrawn.
Okay.
And that's not so much because of design philosophy and a lot more to do with the fact that I have been a Thrawn fan because I'm a fan of Legends, right?
Sure.
And I had importantly, I was very into the Star Wars living card game before I joined FFG. And the Thrawn card in the Star Wars living card game was the most perfectly designed for Thrawn the character I have ever seen in any game ever.
Okay.
I don't think our game could even do what that Thrawn did.
Wow.
In the way that Thrawn depicted Thrawn in a way that because of how he interacted with the rest of the game mechanics, you can't make a more perfect Thrawn than that in another game because the rest of the game mechanics aren't there to support it. But importantly, it meant that I had a very clear goal for this is what Thrawn should do, this is how Thrawn should feel. And it wasn't like a specifics on this is what specifically Thrawn should do, but like when you're playing with Thrawn, this is how he should feel. When you're these are the kinds of abilities Thrawn should have. This is the play experience he should create. And he's one of my favorite cards in in Spark of Rebellion because we nailed exactly what I wanted him to feel like.
Yeah, he's interesting for sure. The only other experience I have with Thrawn is from the Destiny days. There were dev challenges back in the day outside of like Nova, and I think Jeremy sat down and wiped the floor with me with Thrawn Car and laughed as I put DJ on the table and was like, haha, and then, but I think it's interesting to see how you guys have designed each character as far as like what their innate abilities are. So.
And the thing that I personally love the most about this being a trading card game is that it means that we can do multiple versions of characters. Mm-hmm. So maybe the version of Thrawn that feels like Thrawn the most to me is not the same Thrawn that feels the most Thrawn to you. Right. My interpretation of the character is different than your interpretation of the character. We just have both.
Right.
I can have my Thrawn that feels the most Thrawn to me, and you can have your version of Thrawn that feels the most Thrawn to you, and those cards can both coexist in the game.
That's why I love the uniqueness rule from this game.
Yes.
I think it's really fun and interesting, and I think a lot of people were surprised as to see how that shaped up. But your Thrawn's probably different because he's 3 steps ahead. I don't know.
I designed that card in this game.
Oh, okay.
It was called 3 Steps Ahead. It did exactly what it did in Destiny. And then Jeremy turned to me literally the next day and was like, this needs to go immediately. And I was like, okay, fair. We're gonna trade.
Sure. Yeah. Well, if Jeremy says so, I guess you got to do it.
Well, and he understands the danger of action cheating in a game like this. I'm not gonna argue with that.
I'm gonna play 3 for a DJ Laser, a Super Laser Technician.
Here's 3 damage to your base.
Sure. Yep.
Swap it for a 5. Yeah.
Swap it for a 5. Yep. Math is hard. Cool. Okay. So when you design a card at FFG, who's the first person you run to go and test it with?
And test it with?
Yeah, in a deck.
Usually it's whoever's in the office with
Okay.
me.
I have a go-to.
Testing specifically. A better answer to your question is whoever is the co-lead with me on the set. So we have 2 people leading each set. Usually, if I design a card that I'm excited about, the first person who hears about it is my co-lead.
Okay.
Because I can't shut up about it.
Sure. I can't blame you.
And usually they're the one that because also I want their sign off, right?
Sure.
Of both our names are going on the set. I want to make sure we're both happy with it.
Right.
And so hopefully it gets them as excited, and then one of us will build a deck for them and we'll play against each other. Usually I'll play. It'll be the co-leads playing each other because everybody else has their own sets to work on, right?
Right.
But also we play test in the office every week, so whoever's there, they're the one that I'm going to play against.
Yeah, makes sense.
I tell someone else, okay, you build a deck with my set, and I'll build a deck with this character that I really like.
Oh, that's cool.
And we'll see how because also how someone else sees your cards is really, really informative.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure it's definitely important to get a good idea of, things you might not have seen when you were making the deck. Or you had a certain idea and then
and that's I see that as a feature for me as a game designer of I don't want to know all the things that my cards can do.
Sure.
I want to design cards with open ends and not unlimited possibilities, but a lot of possibilities, a lot of interactions.
Sure.
It makes the cards just more dynamic, more interesting.
Definitely.
And so I will consider myself a successful game designer if I see people showing up with card interactions or card strategies that I never even thought of at a tournament.
Sure.
I want to be surprised by the fans, by the players.
And I think that's going to happen.
I
think that's already happening.
It better.
I have high hopes. High hopes for all of this, and I think so far so good.
Yeah.
So
I've been really happy with the reception so far.
Oh yeah, you've got your finger to the pulse. I mean, I see you tweeting all the time, and so yeah, and it's great to have such a communicative dev team. I think that the trust is there and the excitement is there, and
So we have a new marketing team, and I have a theater background. So between
okay.
the 2 of us, we can hopefully keep people as engaged and entertained and hyped as possible. Because
I had a feeling
you don't notice it until you have it and then lose it, or that not having. For a lifestyle game like this, where we are asking the players to be consistently invested in our game for the indefinite future, having a relationship, as us developers, having a relationship with the players is part of that.
Sure.
I can't expect the players to keep coming back to my game if they don't have a relationship with me.
Absolutely.
And also, I can't expect to be making the best game without having a relationship with the audience. Right.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, I think that so far so good, and I think the response has been great.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see you're just as electric as you are on your streams, and I think those streams have been a huge part of what's bringing the community back into this and restoring the excitement and keeping the hype alive. So
yeah, I certainly hope so. Back when this all started, I went. We were like, we're going to make the Star Wars card game.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, as a studio, we're gonna really invest in this. This is our number 1 game. We're gonna invest more money in this game before it launches than we will have ever invested in any game ever.
Sure.
And also, organized play is going to be involved from the beginning of game design.
Awesome.
The accessories will be involved from the design from the beginning.
Yeah.
Marketing will be involved from the beginning. And so I went to the marketing team. I'm like, okay, great. I want to be the spokesman for this game, and if you have a camera, I will get in front of it. And then what was it, 2 months ago, last month when they sent me to TwitchCon, they were like, we're going to make you put your money where your mouth is. I'm like, all right, bring it on, baby. Let's go.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that you've, all the people that have been on the streams are just so, you can tell that the heart is there, the investment is there, and I think that's huge.
We're all big card game players,
Yeah.
so we're all excited about it.
But the frenzy that we see when another stream comes on is just huge. We're all like, crammed in the chat, and it's awesome. It's super cool.
Yeah.
So I didn't think playing would be so hard at the same time, because I love this.
It's your action.
It is my action, and that's exactly what I mean. Yeah. I'm gonna Vader
ping me?
myself.
Oh yeah.
And one to base. Yep.
People keep doing that. Keep Vader pinging themselves. It's ready for what that matters.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yoda's here.
Yoda is here. 2 to base, please.
You got it.
Yeah.
And a shield.
Okay.
You don't exhaust. You get a shield.
I think I will take the initiative.
You got it. How is this game gonna go? This is one of them decisions, like on Wednesday, where the decision I make now is going to determine my course for the whole game.
Those were some interesting games you guys played.
Yeah.
I was interested to see. I'll let you resource first. I don't want to distract you.
You're not distracting me.
I thought it was
I just gotta make a
interesting.
judgment
How big draw is in those games made a huge difference. A lot of variance.
Yes. Card draw is important, but also the strategy of resourcing. I think it's subtle. It's very obvious. It's very easy to say, well, I drew the wrong cards.
Right.
But it's very different to say, I resourced the wrong cards. I would have had the cards, but I didn't.
Sure.
Because I chose not to. And a lot of people, because once you put a resource down, it's easy to forget what that card is, because we don't ask you to know. Right? Like, technically, according to the rules, I can just look at my cards whenever I want.
Right.
But usually I don't have to.
No.
So it can be very easy to be like, oh man, I really wish I had this card. There it is.
Whoops. Yeah, I made a big
could have
mistake.
had it.
I've done that so many times where we've done gameplay recordings, and I look back and I'm thinking, like, what was the card that could have made this? And it's only one card sometimes. One card can make all the difference, which is really cool.
All right, you're up.
I am up. So I'm going to spend 3 for
another one.
Super Laser Technician.
Not like this. Not like this. Here's another Fleet Lieutenant. We'll chain them together.
Sure. Yep.
Swap 5 for 10.
Perfect. Oh boy, how do I want to do this? I think I want to play it safe and spend 3 for a cell block guard.
Boo! Boo, fine. Fine, you'll make me do it. Yoda will surprise strike to make sure the cell block guard dies.
Okie dokie. Sounds good.
He loses his shield. I heal 2 because Yoda.
Yes, sir.
He Yoda.
So now I back myself into a little bit of a corner. I think I'll just do 2. 2 base.
Gimme. Gimme. I want to go first.
I'll pass.
You got it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's what we want to see. I control the ground arena.
So while you think of your next move,
yes,
I'm going to read a quote to you that you had from an article.
They said they were going to use my own words against me, and here we are.
I tried to do my homework a little bit. There's a quote from an L5R interview back in 2018 from Home of the Crane Clan that says, "I strongly believe that learning the enthusiasm is more important than learning the rules. If they don't learn a rule correctly the first time, it's less important that they get it right, and more important that they're having fun." And you go on to talk about how you were trying to get a friend into the Star Wars collectible card game, and how you had one friend that loved Star Wars but hadn't played a CCG before, and you had another friend.
The living card game.
Oh, the living card. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And how you had another friend who had played CCGs but hadn't really had a familiarity with Star Wars. Introduced them to the game. Neither of them liked it. Walked away. Neither of them really liked it. So, How do you think you've worked on finding that balance when designing Star Wars Unlimited so that you don't have that kind of issue happen again?
Well, for one thing, we made the game way easier to learn. I love the Star Wars The Living Card game to death, but that game takes a good 20 minutes just to explain the core rules.
Yeah.
Let alone what the cards do and how they interact.
Right.
The fact that we've been able to teach someone this game and have them fully understand the game after one game has been a huge boon. Huge boon. Cannot overstate.
Sure.
And the fact that the cards are, for the most part, pretty straightforward and pretty simple to understand and both from a comprehension level and from a strategic level. It means that people don't feel like they're overwhelmed before the game has even started.
Sure.
Because I think a big part of the Star Wars Living Card game was that, and other games like it, L5R especially, was that it's very obvious when you're teaching the game where the complexity is. People see all of the complexity up front. In a game like this, we've tried to hide as much of the complexity as possible. The game presents itself as very straightforward. You have resources, you use them to play units, your units attack stuff,
sure,
deal damage, etc. And then each card has abilities, and you read the ability, and you're like, okay, yeah, I get that, and then I do it.
Sure.
I don't have to keep track of 6 different things just to play the game.
Right.
But that's not to say that this game doesn't have complexity, because it does have a lot of strategic complexity. We just hid that behind, underneath the layer of this is a simple, straightforward, casual game.
Right.
But once you go one layer deeper, you're like, oh yes, but what card do I resource? That matters a lot. Which unit do I attack with first, and which thing do I target? Am I supposed to play this card, or am I supposed to attack with a unit? If this guy dies before he gets to strike, then he didn't do me any good, right? I have to decide, I have to prioritize the importance of all my cards, which is an incredibly important skill testing strategy.
Yeah.
But if I don't want to prioritize my cards and I can just take game actions and see how the chips fall,
sure,
I can do that, and that will be fun. And I don't feel like I'm missing out on or being beaten by the game.
Right.
The big problem with some of those older living card games was that they made it very obvious where the complexity, or they made it very obvious where the complexity was. They made it very obvious where the fault points were. It's like, oh, it's not that I resourced the wrong card, which is a very subtle strategic decision.
Right.
It's, I forgot that you even had the ability to do that, but it was on the board from the beginning because,
right.
Or, oh, I forgot that we're supposed to do an edge battle here and I kept the wrong cards in my hand, or, right, there are lots of ways to have complexity in a game.
Sure.
The goal is to not let new peoples be aware that complexity exists until they've already internalized the foundations.
Right.
So that they can enjoy the game as just a casual thing, or they can get really high into the mathing probabilities of drawing cards, or
where to sideboard,
or determining that in this game I really need to get Chewbacca on the table with a shield, and if I don't do that, I'm going to lose. So my whole strategy revolves around making sure I draw Chewbacca, get him on turn 5 with a shield, right? Like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Whereas a more casual player might just be like, Chewie, he's cool. I'll play him maybe, and I will resource him maybe, and
here's
if
a
I don't,
familiar
it's
face.
that big deal.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. I keep losing where I am in this game. Exactly.
Don't worry. It's my turn.
Okay.
I don't want you to have. I'm doing the card game thing. I'm doing the card gamer thing. I'm doing the card gamer thing. This is how you know I'm a card gamer. We'll knock you up to 5.
Sure. Sounds good. Whoops.
You're good.
What do I want to even do here? I don't know.
Don't worry, you guys were promised an interview, not a game. The game you get for free.
I'm going to spend 6 for an ATST.
Oh, see, now my resourcing decision feels worse. Where's that surprise strike when I need it?
I don't know.
Oh, he has 7 health. Never mind. That wasn't going to happen anyway. He's not coming out yet. We're just going to pretend like Vader doesn't exist. Willful deniability.
I like it. I like that plan, personally.
You can attack Yoda, though.
I am going to Vader Yoda real
sure.
quick. So one to base and one to Yoda, I think.
One to Yoda? Sure.
Probably for the best.
That adds up to... No. We're keeping the stack, because I got a Yoda.
Yoda.
This is not my damage. This is our damage.
It's out. We share it together.
We share the damage together, and by we share, I mean I give it to you,
I'll take
and you
it.
don't give it back.
That's fine by me. I just want to check because I'm not really sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You're at 7.
6 setup.
Yeah. These
These are all
ready.
perfect. Like I said, I'm losing myself a little bit.
Hi,
here.
Vader. Friends. Can you slow down? Please slow down. I have a chump blocker.
All right.
You can attack that guy, but only that guy.
So that's fine. I think we'll do that. And this is a 3-3.
They all have 3 health. All my dudes have 3 health.
Yeah, that's fine.
Great.
And then we'll do 2 to Yoda. He's the closest.
2 to Yoda, and I'm going to punch you back.
Yep. Perfecto.
Punch you back. Here's an X-Wing in space.
Cool. I'm going to take the initiative.
You got it. My turn. Shields up.
Oh boy.
Deploy the boy.
Deploy the boy.
The boy is going to deal 4 damage to you.
Yep.
And put a shield on. It was going to be this guy, but I had to change plans. This Fleet Lieutenant, I guess.
Okay.
And that'll be it.
Cool.
All right. We'll stay at 6.
I am not going to resource, I don't think.
Yeah. Resources are for chumps. We want cards in this game.
Absolutely. I swear we'll get back to the interview in a second. But now I'm invested.
I was saying,
now I'm
we
ready.
Now we have a game to finish.
It's a little close. I gotta get in here. So I'll ready all these. And I think I just want to...
Don't step on me.
I think I'm going to attack the Fleet Lieutenant.
This one?
Yep.
This one?
That one.
You sure?
I thought
Okay.
I'm just going to let that one happen. And then I'll do 2 to kill Yoda.
Great. Look at that.
Yep.
This stack is 5.
Perfect. I trust you completely.
Yoda is defeated. I will draw a card.
Yep.
So you have 3 health left?
I do.
Good thing my unit has 3 power.
Oh, all right. Perfect. Get these stacks back.
I have defeated my opponent's leader. That puts me in the commanding position.
So at this point, it's looking rough. But I think I'm going to spend 2 here to
No.
Snow Trooper Lieutenant.
No, don't
And
step on me.
step on Luke.
Don't step on me. I'll take 1 to my base.
How much is that?
From
It's
Overwhelm.
5, 4?
You take 4 back.
4 back.
Well, that's unfortunate. This X-Wing will defeat your TIE Fighter.
You got it. I'll spend
that changes things.
4 for an interceptor.
Rip. I needed that.
This is the swing. The swing I needed.
Here's an Arc 170.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
That was a poorly timed Fleet Lieutenant.
I think we will swing here into there.
Into this?
Yep.
Great.
And this will
Resource.
become ready.
Here's R2D2, everyone's favorite little friend.
Very good.
Is that a good card? I think it's a good card. We're going to keep it.
All right. I think I'm going to claim the initiative.
Sure. World's worst Fleet Lieutenant. He's just a 3-3.
He exists.
But he exists.
He exists, and that's all that matters.
Oh, heck yeah. We're keeping all these cards. These cards rock.
I'm not resourcing anything. Well, it's looking dire for me.
We're just gonna grind this game to a conclusion. I'm gonna really do a quick flex here.
Yes. Quick maths.
Quick flex.
Quick maths.
I only deal 6 damage. Hey, we can get there.
Yes, you can. I'm wondering what the sequence is best here.
Strategic complexity. What is the best sequence here?
I think I'm going to trade this ATSD into this.
Into this one.
And do 3 of Overwhelm.
Great.
Or no, more than 3.
Much more than that. 4. Nope, 5. I have 1 health.
Yes. 5 of Overwhelm.
5 Overwhelm. And
Trade.
we both die. I will eat your snowtrooper.
You got it.
Chomp chomp.
Chomp
Delicious.
I think I will play another Interceptor.
Rip me. Okay, new plan. Here is Chewbacca. He's on the ground.
Okay, that does change things. So I think what I'll do here is do a Vader thing to do this here and this here.
1 and 1. We'll leave those. After Vader, Luke will shield.
That is so unfortunate.
No one saw that coming.
Very, very unfortunate. So in that case, I'm going to spend 3 to open fire.
2d2.
Yes.
Unfortunate. I'll take the initiative.
You got it. I will do 3 to your base.
And now I'll take 3.
This is a pickle. Pickle indeed.
We're coming in hot.
I will not resource once more.
Ooh. Oh no. Chewbacca's not a rebel.
Chewbacca is not a rebel, and that's surprising. I always think he is. I always think Callus is Imperial.
Would you like to know why he's not a rebel? Look carefully at that art.
Is that a solo art?
Do you know where that environment is? It's not the one you think.
Well, he already has his bandolier, so I'm stumped.
That is the ruins of Maz Kanata's castle.
Really?
Yes.
See, I didn't pick that up.
Not my first choice of art for this set's version of Chewbacca.
Sure.
But we commissioned his art and designed him before we knew what the theme of the set was going to be.
Wow. The art is another interesting point of this game.
Yep.
I'm a fan.
Honestly, me too.
Knocks it out of the park almost every time, you know?
I love the more comic book style, and I love I do actually like the variety of style. I know that can be a bit of a turnoff for people, and obviously set 1 has a bit wider stylistic range just because we're still establishing what the style for the game line is.
Right.
But I don't know. I like the experimentation. I like having more variety for more people.
Yes.
That's kind of the TCG aesthetic, right? Of have a lot of different things, and then everyone can attach to the things they like, and not really deal with the things they don't, and that's fine. That's the point.
I love that it's so varied, and I think that each new card has been such a draw. You know, like it's. I think it's perfect.
Yeah. I'm going to start us off by closing the 2, 3, 4, 5.
So what do I need? 3?
3 health
3
remaining.
health left. So that
And I have 5, 10, 15, 18, 12 health left. Check.
Check indeed.
As it were.
So I will spend 3. And this feels so remarkably bad, but I'll open fire.
Yeah.
Gotta keep myself in the game here.
Expensive deal one.
I know. If I was add-on actions, I could have Vadered, but you know.
Okay, we're gonna ambush one of these guys.
Sure. Not into the base. Flock.
The other one is ready.
The other one is ready. Yep. Back to me. So I'm gonna spend 2 to force choke. No, that makes no sense. That's so silly. What am I doing?
You can.
I can, but I forgot he has a shield on him. that's usually a token for us. We don't have those neat cards yet.
Sure.
So I'm going to take that back.
I love using the cards because A, it reminds you that it's an upgrade for the things that care about upgrades, and B, this is just absolutely me being me wanting to attach to the things that I'm responsible for in the game's development, but like I do go out of my way to be like, this is a set 1 card that made the shield, so we're going to use the set 1 shield, and then if a set 2 card makes a token, we're going to use the set 2 version of the token. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Cool.
Because
new tokens maybe. Huh?
Hey, tokens have a lot of design space. Like a lot of design space.
I bet you have no idea what I'm about to do. This whole turn is going to be a surprise to you.
See, but you know what I know you can't do? You can't ping the shield off with Vader and then force choke Chewbacca because you don't have a force unit.
You are correct.
So instead, we're going to repair this gunship.
Interesting. So either way, I am in trouble.
That's the idea. You cannot defeat me. You may try. You will fail.
Oh, I will fail. You're correct about that. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to just try it anyway. We'll ping that.
Give me this.
Yeah,
Check.
I think that's good game,
Checkmate.
my good sir.
We did it.
Very good, very cool. So let me just ask you
I'll
a couple.
defeat you with the Wookiee and the Wookiee gunship.
I am overwhelmed. So I'm just going to ask you 1 or 2 more questions to close it out, if you don't mind.
I love answering questions, especially the ones that I can't answer.
So what is one thing you try to keep in mind when you design this game for longevity's sake?
Ooh, that's a great question. Keeping the cards simple and not for the reason you think. I mean, it is partially for the reason you think because every set needs to be its own entry point to the game, right? But there are a lot of things that a character could do. We'll take Yoda as an example. There's a lot of different versions of Yoda. I could, if I was ambitious and or undisciplined, try to make I could try to make the platonic ideal of a Yoda. We're going to take Yoda as a single holistic character and we're going to distill him down to 1 card.
Sure.
And if I do that, he's probably going to be doing a lot of different things. And also it will close off my ability to make future Yodas.
Right.
It is much better instead for me to say, no, this is specifically Return of the Jedi Yoda.
Right.
When he is old and small and dies to give wisdom to my main character. And then in a future set, that leaves me the option of making Weirdo Goblin from Episode 5 Yoda, and Wise Master from Episode 1 Yoda, and does flips with a lightsaber Yoda, right? Like, all of these Yodas are different cards.
Sure.
And if I tried to make one version of Yoda that was all of them together, then not only would that Yoda be trying to do too many things, it would also make it harder to justify the existence of all the other Yodas.
Right.
So it's really, you want to like hone in on what is this specific version of this character in this moment in time. And also it lets you do wackier things, right?
Right.
What if Callus wasn't a villain? What if he was a villain?
Right.
What if Luke wasn't a hero? What version of Luke is cunning? Right? Like, these are the kinds of questions I like to think about.
So you're saying there could be some kind of alternate forms of what ifs in the future, maybe?
Not even what ifs.
Yeah.
It's just a different,
Right.
This was something that I was talking to Jim about at one point, which was, we were talking about aspects in Star Wars and characters and such. And me, coming from other card games where the color pie is more specific and strict, in my head, and a lot of people come at this just because of industrial precedent,
right?
Of like, oh, this character is this color. Their color identity is a part of their character identity, because that's how other games often do it.
Sure.
And then Jim and I were talking, and he was like, no. What if, like, what if we assumed that every character started as all the colors? And then the question is not what color is the character, but how can I justify the character being in this color? And then you're like, okay, so if I know that there's a cunning Luke, and there's an aggression Luke, and there's a command Luke, and there's a vigilance Luke, which version of Luke is each of them?
Right.
And I'm not going to tell you because I'm going to design those cards. But, you could do the same thing. Sometimes it's really easy, right? Luke, Palpatine, Ahsoka, these characters could be any color, and they have so much variation on how they've been presented that it's very easy. A lot of the minor characters, a bit harder, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine, say, aggression. It's hard to imagine, say, an aggression version of.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an example too. I was about to say Padme, but even like the arena, she could be.
Oh, Padme for sure.
Yeah, Padme would be like command.
Aggressive negotiations is her line. Like aggression C-3PO. That one's kind of hard.
Oh, man,
that one's kind of hard.
Oh, sure, yeah,
right?
I know. Yeah, the red arm, the droid body. I can see it, maybe,
But it means that we're going to end up at way more interesting places,
unlimited possibilities,
than if we had started with which character is this character, which color is this character, right?
Sure.
Because now I'm going out of my way to find weird corner cases. Oh, maybe this is the version of Lando that is specifically him leading the rebels in Return of the Jedi.
Right.
And there's a different version of Lando that is him gambling in Solo. And there's a different version of Lando that is him, being the administrator of Bespin, et cetera, right? And then there's another version of Lando that is him undercover in Jabba's palace, right? Like,
sure,
you can really lean into the differences between the same version, the same character,
right,
and end up with very different card designs. Awesome. It also means that more people get to play with their favorite character, right? If your favorite play style and your favorite character don't match up initially, well, that doesn't preclude them being in a different color with a different mechanic that now maybe you like more. You like Luke and you like aggression. Well, this isn't the Luke for you, but in a few sets,
but there will be.
You'll get an aggression Luke, and hopefully he will play to your play style, and you'll get to play with your favorite character in your favorite deck.
That brings more people in. I mean, that's
the goal.
Brilliant. I love that. That's a good answer. And then I have one more question for you. I know we're about at time, but I said earlier you have your finger on the pulse. You're pretty aware of what the community's saying. You read the chat during the streams. What is the biggest hot take you've heard from the inception of when this started to now?
Ooh. Oh, man. When is this getting published?
Sorry?
When is this getting published?
Oh, when is this getting published?
Like Monday or Tuesday.
Monday or Tuesday.
We could delay it if you need to.
No. There's a hot take that I've been wanting to say for like weeks, and I.
Do we need to get Xander over here?
No. I'm gonna put my toe over the line. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
One of the leader speculations that people have been having for one of the unreleased leaders is very, very wrong.
Very wrong.
I think I have a guess.
You have a guess? Okay, all right.
But I won't say it, so I won't put pressure on.
And when people see it, they'll be like, "Oh, of course, that makes perfect sense." And no one has even gotten close to being right.
Okay, all right. Interesting. Yeah, every time I see the streams.
The camera's done rolling, I'll see.
Every time I've seen those streams and you guys do the guess the double aspect card, I've been way off base every time. So I'm still surprised every time you guys come out with something new, and I think you've really stretched the creativity. Speaking as someone who played Destiny, I think this is an entirely different, expanded universe. So I'm stoked to see what you guys come up with.
Oh yeah,
I'm stoked to hear what leader you're talking about. I'm very
You'll
excited.
find out eventually.
I'm ready. I'm so ready for March. It's unreal.
Dude, me too. I have been waiting so long.
You said we're about at time then.
Yeah, if you want to start wrap up, whatever.
All right.
Close it.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down and talking to us. I think we learned a ton. I lost, which is not unfamiliar to what you guys are used to, but
I did go easy on you.
No. I asked for it personally. So Be sure to follow us on. Jack usually does his part, so I don't know. But thanks for watching.
What are the socials?
All the socials.
What are the,
We're on
I don't know, what are your
Discord,
socials?
YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify. I think we're on.
You're on Spotify?
Father,
Yeah.
Those the hot takes, and the information. Yeah, definitely. But thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.